going on both sides of the team. So, I mean, what do you expect?
I expect more of the same, honestly. Like, I'll be really surprised. The execution just wasn't there for Just End It last time. If they can clean that up, then it can go very, very well for them. They showed that they could get that early lead. They just did a poor job of snowballing it through a couple of mistakes, especially revolving around that dragon. I think a big turning point that game that kind of gave Blaze just a little step up was that sneak dragon from the invisible Eric. Chu missed it. He didn't get the stop in time, even though they had already committed a player to be in position for that. And that's probably not going to happen on Tomb of the Spider Queen. You're probably not going to have a giant dragon coming to bust down your main gate and get 800 experience off your towers. No little boost back into it. So if they can just clean that little bit up, then maybe they can truly make it happen here, because it's a very similar map, very gank heavy, very early game pressure, doing a lot of damage. And so I want to see more of that out of Just End It. I want to see if they can make it work against what Blaze was doing.
Definitely. We see Kael'thas Brightwing banned once again. We haven't seen, I don't think we've seen Kael'thas all night, but Brightwing has been consistently banned. Kael'thas has been consistently banned, and Uther has been picked up pretty consistently the first couple, like for these teams at least.
But a different team this time. Just End It taking Uther this time for their first pick. And so Team Blaze is going to have to do something a little bit different this time. Uther played a big role last game, right? His Divine Shields were absolutely crucial in a few of those team fights to save that low health player. Nothing else in the game would have stopped anything except for the Divine Shield. So Team Blaze, without access to that this game, we'll have to see. These teams already mixing it up.
And then we see a new Barak pick up by Team Blaze, which again isn't really out of the norm right now, because with the meta the way it is, a new Barak has taken a huge spike in his win rate because of the slight changes they made to him. Now, that being said, we could see Jaina being picked up by Team Blaze, in my opinion, or they're going for a Kerrigan. They're taking Just End It's Kerrigan, and they're like, hey, we'll do it a little bit better. What are you going to do?
Exactly. And that's something we talked about. We could see in that first game tonight, where maybe the way to deal with Kerrigan is just to say, all right, well, you're going to play Kerrigan. I guess we can just play Kerrigan instead, and we'll try it out. But once again, moving into that Uther with the Kerrigan can be a bit of a risky proposition. Divine Shield can really shut you down. And if you're not doing damage as Kerrigan, it is very easy to make you very dead. So that's still going to be a concern this game.
Oh, definitely. I mean, they're looking at their hero choices right now. I mean, we could see a more of a more meta type picks. I mean, what they've been picking before, like Malfurion and Kerrigan and all that, I mean, they work, but we've been used to seeing a little bit more from it.
A little bit more Sylvanas, Jaina, perhaps.
Yeah,
in the meta these days. Yeah. Very reasonable pickups here. Sylvanas, you can dump in the bot lane. She can push like crazy. Absolutely fantastic. Jaina works very, very well with all these tight spaces. Not very surprising to see either of them picked up here on Tomb of the Spider Queen.
Definitely, definitely. I mean, it's something you really want to, like, you have to be constantly thinking the composition that the other team is trying to build so that we can combat it. But at the same time, you don't want to scrape your composition. Like, you have a goal at the beginning of a draft. You want to go in there and be like, okay, we're going for this. How can we make this work after their opponents pick their heroes? So it's like, okay, we're going hyper aggression. We want Kerrigan. Someone picks up Kerrigan. What are we going to do to make sure that we can still play the way we want to play?
Absolutely. And really, it's just kind of, it's interesting. You know that Team Blaze is going to be wanting to go aggressive already because they've picked up Kerrigan. Kerrigan can't really do anything else. So grabbing up a niche pick like that early kind of already defines your team, whereas Just End It, they went with perhaps a bit more of a general team comp selection. Like Jaina and Uther in particular, you can fit into a whole bunch of different things, and they're still just very strong overall. They work very well. So it'll be interesting to see what Just End It grabs up to really round out their composition and determine what their team is going to do with their 4th and 5th picks. Whereas on Team Blaze, we already know what's going to happen. Rhaegar, maybe not really that much of a surprise. We know they're going to be wanting to fight. They're going to want to end fights quickly. That ancestral healing can really help you turn around a fast fight, as long as that one giant heal can make a big, big difference.
really can. I mean, with that Rhaegar pick, it locks it so that they can possibly pick up an Illidan. Maybe, maybe not. It depends. They don't have to worry about too many stuns. Oh, actually, I take that back. The other team got Tyrande and Uther, or Tyrande Muradin, so it completely changes the way I was thinking. But okay, who do you think Team Blaze is going to pick for this final pick?
That's a real good question. Last time they went with Ethereal and kind of that double tank composition. They've gone with Vikings before as well. Maybe not as popular on Tomb necessarily. It's hard to call this last one, really, especially with the Kerrigan in here. They've got the Rhaegar. They've got the Vala. They can't pick up Jaina. They can't pick up Tyrande. They can't pick up Sylvanas. What do you take to really add to this aggression? I mean, in some ways, you kind of want Kael'thas, right? Because he can just blow literally everything up, because that's what he does. But Brightwing being banned out as well, I don't know. No cleanse is getting really scary for Team Blaze. It almost makes me think they do want something in the front line to make sure they can't just get annihilated immediately by that chain of CCs coming down.
It's definitely something you have to be watching out for. I mean, you don't want to be... what's the word? Oh, a Nazebo.
A Nazebo. That is bold right now.
That is an interesting pick. You don't really see Nazebo too often anymore. He kind of fell off after they nerfed his Ravenous Spirit and all the stuns and the long-range silences that have been coming out with like Sylvanas and everything. So it's going to be interesting to see what they decide to go with here for his heroic. I'm thinking they're going to go Gargantuan just because it's more consistent and you don't have to worry about the silences and the stuns coming from Just End It.
Absolutely. I think you would have to go with Gargantuan here, but I really like the pickup. It's interesting. It's an interesting form of CC with the zombies. Once again, it can make really good use of those tight enclosed spaces that you'll find frequently on Tomb of the Spider Queen. And with that Gargantuan just getting in there, mixing it up, can kind of get in the way of your opposing team, make sure that maybe they're not landing everything exactly the way they want to with that Gargantuan in the way. I really like the pick. It's an interesting one, but it could work out very well for them.
It really could. And it looks like we have all the team members in here. Just make sure the lobby's good. So with Just End It, they seem to love going for the super control heavy compositions with the stuns and lockdown.
Oh, definitely. I mean, Just End It basically sticking to the same thing, almost the same team they had before, but having the Sylvanas instead of the Kerrigan is kind of a big deal. A lot more push pressure. They probably would have taken Kerrigan if they could have gotten it, right? But maybe valuing that Uther just a bit more, but still that backbone of Tyrande, Muradin still there with those big heavy stuns coming out. Very interesting to see.
It really is. I mean, we're going to see some pretty cool, they're going to go for a completely different style of play from what we were seeing them play earlier. They've pretty much had the same composition the past 3 games, like I've said, and this is completely different from what they've been playing. Aside from the Jaina, Tyrande, that's about it. So, like, Jaina and Tyrande are the only 2 heroes that they haven't really been playing. Like, they've been playing consistently, so.
We've got that Muradin in there as well, who's going to be doing all kinds of stunning. And I don't know, it's very interesting to me just having these same picks coming out of those characters, but having them clearly potentially playing a different role here. There's not so much making sure that the Kerrigan has the follow-up CC to actually get the kill down, and a lot more just, okay, well, if we get a pick, we can use it, but we've got Sylvanas in the back, we've got Jaina in the back. They have a lot more options, I think, with this team comp in particular than getting funneled in the way they have these past few matches.
Definitely. It looks like we're going to hop into game number 2 of Team Blaze versus Just End It. Winner of this will actually get $100 to go home with, and then the second place winner will actually get $50, so they're both going to walk away with some money in their pockets. I'm really excited to see the different strategies they're going to use on this map in particular. It's very, very aggressive. You got to be careful where you're positioned. What about you? What do you think?
Well, like you were saying, it's a very aggressive map. Positioning is crucial. Those stuns are going to be very important. Harassing those turn-ins can be a little bit important as well. So I kind of like this idea that we have a couple more longer range characters in there this time. We've got the Sylvanas, we've got the Vala. Interrupting that kind of thing can be very important, especially in those early and mid phases of the game.
Alrighty, so if you wouldn't mind introducing the blue side.
Absolutely. So on Team Blaze, once again, we are going to have Ayuda covering Vala. Cladius on Nazeebo this time. J-Kerp's going to be covering Rhaegar. Tug and Nuts will be on Anubarak for this game, and they're going to round out their team with Goku on that Kerrigan.
Alrighty, then over on the red side, we're going to have Horse Pants on a different hero this time. It's going to be Uther, B-Kid on that Murden, Tiger JK on the Tyrande, of course, Chu8 on the Sylvanas, and Glaurung on Jaina.
All right, both teams just moving down, kind of meeting each other. It looks like both teams kind of want to get into a fight right now, or at least have the opportunity to get a pick if it comes their way. So much CC available once again that a lockdown could easily come down with enough damage to follow it up for a kill, but everybody just being a little bit cautious. Very well aware that there's a lot of kill potential on both sides here. Nobody's going to get too far out of position, and we're just going to move very safely into that laning phase.
Definitely. And it looks like we have Horse Pants down the bottom lane. Just going to sit there and soak as much experience as he can. Maybe we'll see some roaming going around, but we're probably going to see a bit more roam going on the side of Team Blaze just because they have Kerrigan. Like that's a scary composition to deal with. Is that Kerrigan can really take you for a loop, especially if you're not expecting it.
Absolutely. I mean, Kerrigan will be hunting for kills. That is what Kerrigan does. Right now, we can see she's just kind of waiting, maybe to catch somebody rotating, maybe just to keep some vision in place. But, oh, a huge engagement up in top lane. Once again, just that step out of position, and Rhaegar is going to get absolutely destroyed at the start of this game.
And that's one thing that Just End It has been really good at. They've been excellent at those stuns, locking someone down, and as we can see, that Tiger JK has been on point with those lunar flares.
Oh, definitely. He does not miss those very often at all. And that'll make a huge difference in these fights. I mean, that's really the difference in a lot of ways between a good Tehran player and a great Tehran player, is how often you hit that E. So important to get it right, because it is such a huge game changer in each and every fight you use it.
It really is. And then Uther having the backup a little bit. You're scared of that Kerrigan gank, but it looks like Tiger JK, B-Kid, and Glaurung are all going to be like wandering around here. But Goku's doing a really good job at like putting the pressure on, making sure that they don't try to overextend. But he might be taken out here if he's not careful. And they're going to back up a little bit here, but that's completely okay. We've seen quite a bit of aggression. It looks like Just End It's a little bit of head and experience because of that kill and the lane soaking they've been doing. Iota taking quite a bit of damage, does go down by Glaurung. But other than that, it's been pretty quiet.
Yeah, I mean, Blaze is playing scared right now. There's really no other way to say it. They're not getting in the aggression that their team comp really needs with this Kerrigan pick. Finally, we do have a bit of an engage onto Glaurung's Jaina. Will he drop? No, it looks like the zombie wall preventing J-Kerps from continuing the engage. Instead, they're going to turn it around, and Kerrigan and Rhaegar are going to be the ones to fall here. Chu coming down. A nice collapse from Team Just End It to really turn that engage around onto Team Blaze's head, and we can see now why they've been so passive despite their team comp selection. They just can't make it happen yet right now.
And just initiations that Glaurung, B-Kid, and Tiger JK have been able to do like consistently throughout this match. They've taken kills left and right. It's 5-0 right now. 57 gems going the way of Just End It, and they're going to be able to get the first web weavers of the game right here.
Man, Team Blaze just cannot stop leaking kills. Vala falls to Sylvanas in the top lane. Just 4 more gems needed to get that first set of web weavers, and Blaze has not managed to turn in any yet. That is just huge in Tomb of the Spider Queen. You cannot let that sort of thing happen to you.
Well, it could be good, it could be bad. It just depends on how I decide to play it.
Well, generally speaking, I like to have gems rather than not having gems. That's maybe just my personal preference, but I would rather be holding on to gems and not be down to 16, 18 across my characters. Generally speaking, not how you want to be playing.
Oh, definitely. I mean, you have to look at the amount of gems that they have on the side of Team Blaze, and they only have 32. I mean, they still have 18 on the side of Just End It, and that's because of all the kills they've had. Like, those 6 kills, 3 gems apiece, you're looking at quite a few gems there.
Absolutely. Level 7 already coming out for Team Just End It. We're going to have that Lunar Blaze coming out for Tehran. No big surprise. Allowing for nice catches, and web weavers are going to get turned in. So we have 50 gems over to Team Just End It. They have that level 7 advantage. I imagine they're going to be looking to pick a fight here. Really try and put on more and more pressure against Team Blaze.
It's something that they're going to want to do. They want to make sure that they can put as much pressure onto Team Blaze as they can. It's going to push them into the late game, and they're going to be able to take more and more of an advantage. They're already almost they're about a full level ahead of Team Blaze right now, and it's just going to get worse if they don't deal with Just Ended's composition. Like, their aggression, their control over these fights is just too good.
Absolutely. Almost level 7. There it is, finally. So those traits have evened up among these players. Team Blaze did manage to pick up a Merc camp, so that's nice. They've got those Knights, those Bruisers, pushing down that mid lane against these Web Weavers. So things aren't really falling apart, but that top wall, that top tower, did get taken down. Another one very low on ammunition. So just a nice small push over from Team Just Ended so far with these Web Weavers, but they didn't really manage to force that fight out that maybe they would have been looking for. Team Blaze playing very passively, just trying to stay alive and keep pushing later in the game.
And those stuns, man, the fact that Toronto has been able to be on point with those stuns and take down Iota, it's been huge in this game. And Cloudrun dodging the Goku's Rake stun combo, it's something that you really learn how to do when you play a lot of a certain hero. And Goku getting taken down very, very quickly by Muradin and Tiger JK, and JK's not in a good position either, gets taken down as well.
Man, they're just falling apart over there on Team Blaze. Every single time one of them falls, it feels like another 2 or 3 drop right afterwards from trying to help him out. Really shows the importance of that cleanse here. Having that Brightwing, having that Uther making such a big difference, and getting banned out of it, not going well for Team Blaze right now.
Not at all. And like we've seen Uther just sitting bottom the entire time. He has not been involved in these fights really at all.
Doesn't need to do anything. His team's got it. He knows it. He's just going to sit there, get them all that experience, make sure they keep their lead going strong. Level 10 available for Team Just Ended. They're going to pick off Kerrigan and seriously pressure this fort right now. Used a lot of ults to make that happen. Starfall's gone. Water Elemental is gone, but still Wailing Arrow and Divine Shield available, and that is such a huge lead to 10. You have to imagine their ultimates will be back up once again by the time the opposing team manages to push to level 10 and pick up theirs.
Definitely. I mean, they still have a full level to go for Team Blaze, and they're getting a 32 gem turn-in right now, and they're going to get those Web Weavers.
That's nice in some ways. The blue Web Weavers coming down. I mean, it will relieve a little bit of pressure, but you have to wonder what Blaze is actually going to manage to accomplish with this. Given that they are 2 levels down, they are not going to be able to press in against Just Ended very easily at all right now.
Definitely, and that's one thing you really have to be careful about when timing your objective captures is, can we do much with this? We have level 9. We don't have our heroics yet. The other team does. Can we do anything to catch up to level 10 and then turn in the objective? At that point, you can start to win team fights. At this moment, it's going to be very difficult to even engage.
Absolutely. Those Web Weavers mostly just getting burned out. The bottom lane Web Weaver doing a little bit of work. We're starting to get this gate down. These towers have fallen, and level 10 has been picked up. Web Blast, apologies, over on to a Nubarak right now. So that could be a bit useful maybe for forcing a 4v5. Can make big difference for sure instead of that Locust Swarm. But still, no real big fights coming out from these Web Weavers. They just get a little pushing pressure done, a little bit of relief, and allowing Blaze to get over to level 10. Still important, but not really what you want out of Web Weavers.
The fact that they are able to keep the aggression at bay from Just End It and actually grab level 10 and grab those heroics. The problem here now is that they are going to get their red Web Weavers and counter aggression. Like, they are going to go as hard as they can against some of these forts. They already have most of their fortifications down. Like, middle lane has nothing defending that fort. Top lane has a one turret defending it, and they're going to go for the boss.
Wow, that is aggressive. Seriously, they probably can pull this off. A lot of Blaze was down taking those giants during all of this. Just Ended identifying that they're trying to make this happen, forcing Goku to come on in. He is gonna get stunned up, but not taken down immediately. Finally, he goes ahead and falls. Looks like a big strafe coming out, but it's not going to get enough work done. Some low health bars over on Team Just Ended, but a kill on over to Blaze, and the follow-up continues. Nazebo's going to get stunned. Muradin's trying to go hard. Webblast finally coming on out, so we've got a 4v4 for the moment, but still no kills having been picked up onto Team Just Ended, and they're still going to keep pressing into this fort. And with Web Weavers pushing everywhere else, this is a very nice fight, it looks like, for our red team.
Definitely. Iota does go down. J-Curse was able to use Ezra's healing, but not to any avail. Rhaegar goes down. Goku goes down once again. Barely gets it back into the fight and gets taken out immediately. They are just putting so much pressure onto Team Blaze right now. I don't know if they're going to be able to recover.
Seriously, I mean, 3 level difference right now. Level 13 talents gonna be available for Just End It. Web Weavers finally getting cleaned up a little bit, but a lot of gems having gone uncollected through all of this so far. And just so many kills, so much shutdown onto Team Blaze. They're going to be struggling very hard to pull it back into this one. And Just End It, are they looking for this boss again? Do they want to just bait it again? Try and keep forcing these fights? They're in such a dominant position. It looks like exactly what they want to go ahead and do.
And like you said, they're in a very dominant position. I mean, look at this. 0 kills to 15. How demoralized would you be seeing that the enemy team has 15 kills up on you and you haven't had a single one yet?
Absolutely. I mean, this is exactly the kind of thing Just End It really wants to get back into this series, though. After that initial loss where you have the lead, you really want a game like this. This will get their heads back in it, and it shows they weren't really affected by that. They just picked themselves up and said, all right, well, we just got to buckle down a little bit and actually make it happen this time. And they're just doing that so beautifully this game.
Definitely. It looks like they have the Bruiser camp on the bottom right up and available to go. They have 48 gems right now. They need another 10 more gems to be able to get another Web Weaver turn in, and that's exactly what they're going for. They're just going for that Web Weavers. They're not trying to be a little too aggressive. They're trying to get the gems they need to go for that turn in and put some more aggression on, or more pressure, onto Blaze.
Absolutely. Perhaps looking to get to level 16 before starting up another fight when you've got this much of a lead. It's the kind of time you can go ahead and feel free to take as long as you know what you're doing around the map. They pushed a boss that buys them all kinds of time. They can grab knights, they can grab web weavers, they can grab giants, and then start a fight. And with all of those mercenaries pushing, with level 16 potentially available, if they just choose to soak a little while longer, they can get a seriously influential fight that has the potential to start ending games before too terribly long here.
Oh, for sure. And it looks like they're just going to hold on to those gems, wait for the correct time to put even more pressure onto Team Blaze. And, I mean, they're not in any rush at this point. They're already a talent point up. They're 16-13. They just picked up that 16 talent. They have a lot of pressure going in every single lane just because of the level advantage that they have.
Absolutely. And now we see the turn-ins coming. Now that level 16 is available, they are going to go ahead and go through with it and start seriously looking for a few more engagements in this match.
Definitely, and they're probably going to try to go for that bottom siege camp, but it doesn't look like they might. They're probably not going to be able to get there in time. Can they do it? Can they do it? Nope.
Muradin tries to make it happen, but it's not going to. Just a little bit of miscommunication perhaps there. Not set up to get onto it immediately, but they're going to be pressuring this fort very quickly regardless. Siege Giants or no, a Web Weaver will certainly take a building down quickly once you're 13 minutes into a game.
Oh, for sure. And it looks like the Team Blaze is just going to be in the mid lane here, trying to defend against these Web Weavers, and they're heading top to clear out that one as well. They have a huge wave of minions and Web Weavers pushing down this bottom lane along with the entire team of Just End It, but they're positioning themselves to have vision and not have to worry about too much happening.
I'm so worried about this, though. With the Sylvanas here especially, locking down these buildings, allowing them to not fire back, I feel like Blaze is a little bit late getting here. We can see how much damage this Web Weaver has already done. And finally, the other team has managed to gather together, but there's already so much damage done. Goku, it looks like it's going to get stunned up and falls again. Almost Vala is actually going to be the first to go down, but we can just see health bars dropping everywhere for Team Blaze. This is almost certainly going to be a keep. Going out. Tugganuts is buying a little bit of time, running away, forcing his opponents to leave his keep alone, but it's not going to be enough. He still is going to fall. And now we've got the entirety of Team Just In It pressuring down this keep, one of them being Sylvanas. Team Blaze is not looking good, and they could push for the core if they're feeling particularly feisty at this point.
Well, I don't expect them to push for the core. It's a little too early to be that aggressive. I mean, they had the low advantage, but as you can see, their entire team is about to come up. They have no reason to push for it. They're just going to go for those gems, go for those objectives. You don't really, if you already have the lead, just keep taking it. Keep gaining more and more of a lead. There's no reason to overextend and be greedy.
Oh, completely agree. Definitely the better option. to back up. A lot of teams, when they've seen that blood, they want to keep going. They want to go ahead and end it. So I definitely like Team Just End It going ahead, backing up and saying, all right, we'll force a fight. We've got a better position. Goku once again gets caught out and burst down immediately. But Glaurung this time starting to get picked off. The Divine Shield comes down and his team has managed to come in and reinforce very, very quickly. That is 3 kills once again on over to Team Just End It. And now it looks like, well, they want to go ahead and just end it.
It's a bold move, Cotton. Don't know if they can pull it off.
Well, only 2 team members defending. They do only have level 18 to almost level 15 here, but Ultimate's still a few of them available. They can probably get this pressure done, but it is still a risky move at this stage of the game.
I have faith. I think they can end it from here. I mean, it's the core's at 50%, and it does look like they are definitely going to be able to take game number 2. This is going to be a best of 3 series, guys. They were going to game number 3. Every caster wishes for a best of 3 series, going to game number 3, and it. Okay.
It was actually that close. But Muradin, full health bar, he was going to be able to get those last few percentages.